Loyalty, deception, honor, and betrayal. The game begins anew when the epic series Game of Thrones returns. Just one part of your free preview of HBO Max. You'll experience all the must-see originals and the biggest Hollywood movies you won't want to miss. Watch it all anytime. There's nothing else like it. Don't miss a free preview of HBO Max Friday, March 29th until Monday, April 1st. Sign up for HBO and Max and get your first month free. Call 601-8992 or visit cablebahamas.com to subscribe today.
Good evening, Bahamas. This is NB12 broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Here's what's making news tonight. A jury visits the jail where Aaron Roll died. The National Security Minister explains why no action has been taken against Webshops. The Mayaguana airport closed, plus the Prime Minister renames a holiday. Those stories and much more on the way. I'm Nakia DeVoe, and NB12 starts right now. Joining us here at NB12. New details were revealed in Day 7 of testimony in the coroner's inquest into the custody death of Aaron Roll. Taking the stand was a man who stayed one cell away from Roll and said he called out to officers more than 20 times to help Roll hours before his death. The jury also visited the Southern Police Station where Roll died on February 9th. Jasmine Bonamy has all the details in this report.
Following the testimony of Dr. Karen Sands on Monday, who revealed gruesome details about Roll's death, the coroner's court resumed this morning. But noticeably absent from the witness stand was Haitian national Jacqueline Desser-Vines, who shared a cell with Roll at the Southern Police Station. It was revealed that he was deported a week after Roll's death. But testimony was heard from another man who was also in the cell block during the 3 days that Roll was in custody. Roll died in a cell at the Southern Police Station around 8 a.m. on Saturday, February 9th. He had been in custody since February 7th. Cordero Monroe testified that on February 8th, Roll came back to his cell looking sick and despondent. Monroe testified that he noticed a change in Roll's behavior as he and other suspects had developed a friendship with Roll, who was talkative up until the time he was taken out for questioning the day before he died. In previous testimony, Constables 2648 Carl Smith and 2126 Akil Smith testified that force was used to restrain Roll after they say he attempted to escape during questioning upstairs in the inquiry room on Friday, February 8th. Monroe says once Roll was returned to his cell that Friday afternoon, his demeanor completely changed. He testified that Roll could barely speak, was gasping for air, coughing up blood, and complained that it felt like his ribs were broken. He said Roll's condition got progressively worse, and he and Roll's cellmate called out to officers 20 to 30 times for medical help that never came. Monroe also testified Roll told them he was beaten and just wanted to go to prison and no longer be in police custody. Monroe also testified that just 30 minutes before he died, Roll's last words were, "Who was that walking in the hallway?" With no one actually in the hallway, Monroe said he believed Roll saw death coming. His testimony contradicted that of several officers who interacted with Roll at the Southern Police Station. Those officers said they did not see anything wrong with Roll, and he never complained while alive in custody. But proceedings did not end with Monroe's testimony. The jury was also taken to the inquiries room upstairs at the Southern Police Station. Testifying there was Sergeant Shavard Bain, the officer in charge of inquiries at the station, who said he assigned both Officer Smiths to Roll's escape and robbery cases. Bain was also the officer who walked in on the scuffle between the officers and Roll on February 8th. Under cross-examination, he testified that the window Officer 2648 Smith testified Roll tried to escape from had metal panels. He also testified that a table was broken, chairs were overturned, and paper was strewn across the room. A police-issued baton was also on the floor. When asked by attorney Christina Galanos if he believed Roll would try to escape through the louvered window, Bain replied yes, and anyone using body strength could force their way through. Bain also testified that in his 7 years at the station, he had known about 2 other escape attempts in the inquiry room, but none were attempted at the window pointed out by Smith. Bain said a suspect had jumped through a push-up window to the opposite side of the room where several louvers were missing, leaving a sizable gap in between. Cross-examination of Bain will continue tomorrow. Before the Easter holiday, acting coroner Janine Weish-Gomez had set apart the dates of the 8th, 9th, and 10th as the final days of testimony. However, it is unclear if the case will wrap up this week. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade recently told members of the media that he takes allegations of police brutality very seriously, adding that officers are arrested and charged for such conduct. Well, today, the police officer accused of beating a suspect at the Grove Station last month was formally arraigned. Constable Trevor Cox was charged before Magistrate Caroline Vogt Evans with causing harm to Carrington Dean on March 28th. Cox pleaded not guilty and was granted $3,000 bail with 1 to 2 sureties. He is to return to court on April 26th. It was Rodney Monker who alerted Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade to this alleged incident, posting a photograph of Dean's bruised buttocks on social media. Following Chief Justice Sir Michael Barnett's discharge of the conservatory order that protected Webshops from police interference yesterday, attorneys for several Webshop owners filed appeals to that ruling. However, the future of the industry remains uncertain, and questions surrounding the legality of web gaming in the Bahamas remain unanswered. Celeste Nixon has more in this report.
While Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage has stated that the police will uphold the law, when or if police will actually close down web shop gaming operations remains unclear.
The police force will act in accordance with the law. Full stop. No, I'm not saying what it's not going to be. I'm not in a position to say what it's not going to be. I'm just telling you what I understand the position to be. But it's not the minister's job to tell the commissioner how to do his work. He will work in accordance with the law. That is the government's position, as the Prime Minister indicated yesterday.
Speaking with Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade this afternoon, he could not clarify what action, if any, would be taken against Webshops or the implications of the discarded conservatory order, which he said is a matter for the courts to decide. Greenslade said moving forward, there needs to be further discussion and clarification on the topic. While Dr. Nottage said he speaks to Commissioner Greenslade on a daily basis, they have not spoken about shutting down Webshops. According to Nottage, the police are provided with the order and then advised by the Attorney General.
My understanding is that the police would normally firstly they have to be provided with the order, and they will get the advice of the Attorney General as to what the position is.
However, when asked, Greenslade said he is not awaiting instructions from anyone. Webshop attorneys Wayne Monroe and Alfred Sears filed an appeal against Sir Michael's ruling yesterday. Reporting for NB12, I'm Celeste Nixon.
And in other news, in the wake of the Mayaguana airport tragedy, there has been much back and forth about who should take responsibility for the condition of the Mayaguana airport. Today, Minister of Transport and Aviation Glenys Hannah Martin explained what government is doing to prevent similar incidents from taking place. Christina McNeil reports.
Less than 1 week after tragedy struck the island of Mayaguana, claiming 3 lives, the minister responsible for transport and aviation today announced that Mayaguana's airport is closed effective immediately until further notice.
To all agencies, the Mayaguana airport effective immediately until further notice. The Department of Civil Aviation has closed the Mayaguana airport to all scheduled commercial carriers and aircraft over 6,000 pounds. Aircraft in short field takeoff and landing configuration, referred to as stalled aircraft, may operate with caution as repair work continues at the airport. All night fixed wing flights are suspended, and the Department of Civil Aviation will allow emergency helicopter flights only.
81-year-old mother of former Cabinet Minister Sidney Colley, Edith Colley, his sister Ina May Polowick, and her husband Tim Polowick were killed when the truck they were sitting in burst into flames as a Lee airplane wing clipped the vehicle. Glenna's Hannah Martin today also revealing details from the preliminary report issued by the Air Accident and Investigation Team of the Civil Aviation Department. The report has revealed that vehicles lined the runway to provide illumination for the emergency flight early last Thursday morning. However, 2 trucks were parked too close to the side of the active runway. The pilot indicated that he did not realize the airplane hit 2 vehicles until after he exited the aircraft. By then, the truck was engulfed in flames, and attempts to extinguish the flames were fruitless. A full report on the accident is expected in the next 2 weeks. Hannah Martin extended condolences to the Colley family while noting the accident has struck deep in the heart of the small community of Mayaguana. Meanwhile, efforts are being taken to ensure the practice of lighting runways at night with vehicles is no longer necessary at Family Island airports.
I now advise of the government's undertaking in the public interest to install emergency lights at the Mayaguana airport. The efforts towards the acquisition of those lights are now underway. On a concurrent basis, a defined plan of action is being developed to address the general state and condition of that runway. Further, the government will complete the exercise for the installation of emergency lights in all remaining public airports in this country. The Department of Civil Aviation advises that those airports are Stella Maris, Long Island, Fresh Creek, Andros, and Rum Key.
Emergency lights previously installed at Ragged Island and Deadman's Key were also slated to be repaired, while lights will immediately be installed at Mayaguana. In the meantime, government will be seeking to address the lack of a proper maintenance program for solar emergency lights at Family Island airports.
To this end, the Department of Civil Aviation will forthwith engage in a comprehensive review of critical indicators in our airport system nationwide.
Hannah Martin notes that important lessons have been learned in the wake of this tragedy, but government and aviation officials are working swiftly to ensure that a similar incident does not take place. Reporting for NB12, I'm Christina McNeil.